Women want arseholes. So go be one. Very provocative, I know, and my point is this. Oftentimes growing up you were told that women, they don't want assholes. What they want is a guy who's confident, and a woman who wants an asshole who objectively dates assholes. In reality, she's confusing confidence for an asshole. Okay, that is what you were told, and what you were told was complete bunk. We are at a point now, particularly with Zoomers and them going on TikTok, and the girls in particular openly admitting that they want toxic relationships and so on and so forth, where we can no longer say that arseholes don't get all of the bitches. The point is this. I'm about to tell you what it is, in my experience and observations and so on and so forth, what it is that women want in a man. So, bear with me. The first thing you need to understand is sexual selection, economic theory. And sexual selection economic theory, if I'm remembering the name correctly, basically goes like this. In the context of capitalism, a lot of women, not all women, but a lot of women are transactional when it comes to sex, love, and affection. What does that mean? So what it means is that they will leverage their sexuality to get something back. It could be anything. Generally it's material, but it could be anything. And that is the sort of exchange mentality that you're dealing with. So you buy her dinner, for example. You buy her flowers, for example. She exchanges her sexuality, her access to her body for these goodies. That is the sort of situation that we're living in. And I believe that women have been playing the game this way since at least the 19th century. I based it on the biography of Lysander Spooner that I read, in which he was talking to a woman flirtatiously, prospectively, and she wanted a man with a house because she wanted a house. So at least since the 19th century, women have been using their sexuality, access to their bodies, in a sort of transactional way. But it's more nuanced than all women are gold diggers. It's much more nuanced than that. A woman doesn't want a man. She wants the idea of a man. What exactly am I talking about? Well, this. What it is she wants a ideal man, whatever that is, for her. So the way, a sort of parallel, sort of a way of thinking about it would be a tree, right? If you saw an apple tree, maybe it looks pretty, maybe you don't really care, but in general, aside from maybe the delicious red apples that you could find on this tree, you're not really going to give it much thought, are you? Now, imagine that tree is the tree under which Sir Isaac Newton developed his theory of gravity. Suddenly, that tree has a power, it has an aura, it has a beauty to it, because there is the sort of non-physical layer on top of the physical substrate that is the tree. This is how women approach men. Yes, there is the physical man in front of her, his anatomy, his ribs, his hands, and so on and so forth. But layered on top, layered, or rather interwoven with this anatomy is whatever her ideal is. Maybe her ideal is a nerd. Maybe her ideal is a superhero. Whatever her ideal is, that is what sort of interacts with and complements the flesh in front of her. And, most importantly, having this non-physical layer can actually enhance or compensate for a man's looks or lack thereof. That's another important thing to take into account. And so this is why you will often, not often, but you will at times see a woman who is with a guy that's sort of not up to her sort of level, you might think. It's because of that non-physical layer across the substrate that is his anatomy. And so this is how sort of women think. And so whatever her ideal is, that is what she wants. Now, what you live in is in a world where a lot of women are balancing the two. They have their ideal on the one hand, yes, but they also have this sort of exchange mentality when it comes to their bodies and so on and so forth. And so it's a sort of equilibrium that many of them are working with, where they want to sort of balance the two. So, what is it that you as a man need to do in order to get access to women? This is my advice. And this is what I was talking about earlier, about the arsehole. For some woman, her ideal, a sizable amount of women, if we're honest, is an arsehole. Straight up. You know, she is attracted to that. Hey, well, that's fine. No judgment from me. So long as kids and animals aren't involved, which unfortunately a lot of times they are, then by all means go date the arsehole. I couldn't care less. But my point is that he matches her ideal. There is the layer across the anatomy. And so this is what I'm talking about. And so for you as a man, you need to be two things. Number one, you need to bring utility. So you need to get your money up. I hate to say it, but you do need to bring utility. That's number one. And number two, you need to be a fully fleshed character. You need to match an ideal. And by this I don't mean being a phony. What I mean is leaning into who you are. Because who you are is going to be appealing to a group of women that are out there. To a type of woman that is out there. Because her ideal that she has in her mind is usually an extension of herself, or what she would herself like to be. So, here's an example. You are a really good gamer. Perhaps not a gamer in the sense of computers, but a gamer in the sense of Dungeons and Dragons. Okay? That is who you are. Well, then you are going to match the ideal of some girl out there, multiple of them actually, in which that is their ideal, as a man who can rip up at Dungeons and Dragons. And so you, in the same way that she's walking around with this sort of equilibrium of the utility versus the ideal, you need to sort of embody that. So you need to have your finances good, yes, but you also need to be a fully fleshed out character. You need to be fully formed, if you will, not just some sort of empty cardboard cutout. And so that is my advice to you, is number one, to be of utility, to be of value. And number two, to match an ideal. And it's important that you match an ideal. Why? Because many of you know this because you've been played. When you are not the ideal, when you are the one sort of in awe of her, and she, more or less in that situation, has the power, it doesn't end well for you, does it? But when you are her ideal, when she is the one wanting you, that puts you in a better bargaining position. Again, dealing with the transactional nature of dating in this modern day and age. So that is my advice for any sort of cis straight man out there, is first and foremost to understand what it is that women want.